I drove 9 hours to celebrate my brother's engagement after gifting him $10,000 for the ring, and his fiance looked me up and down and said, "Oh, you showed up. We already have too many nobodies here." We just smiled, walked out, and that night I reserved the transfer, broke them both, and posted the screenshot with the caption, "Congrats to the happy couple. Hope entertainment pays better than I did." I checked the 9 hours before sunrise with a locker arm, travel mark of a guest, station coffee, and my guest Jiffy's evening law. The kind of day you only make for someone who really matters. In this case, it was for my younger brother. A few minutes ago, he called me sounding stressed. He wanted to propose but could not swing the cost of the ring she wanted. He didn't ask outright, but I offered. I sent him $10,000 that same week. No lecture, no repayment plan. Just do your thing. I'm proud of you. No hair. I was crossing state lines to show up for the engagement party. I never met Hesias in person, but I would seen her pictures. Same polished, little height intense, but I figured lots of those eggs. The venue was tensy. Those new elastic cake buns with hanging Edison balls and overpriced champagne. I walked in, I wrapped giving one hand, feeling a little awkward, but happy to be three. I spurred my brother across the room, and just as I raised a hand to wave, she turned and saw me. His passion changed instantly. She looked me over like she would find a stain on her new rug. No hello, no smile, just a few words under her breath. Loud enough for the people around her to laugh, tight controlled lather. I caught the tone more than the exhaust was, but did not need a reply. I didn't speak, I did not argue, I didn't even look at my mother. I just turned around and walked out, back in my hotel room. I sat with that moment envelope in my head. My phone buzzed with text I didn't open. Instead, I pulled up my banking app. The transfer was still pending. I reversed it. Then I blocked them both. No warning, no note, and yeah, I posted a screenshot of the reversal. No names, no drama, just congrats to the happy couple. Hope entertainment is better than I did. The next morning, I didn't touch my phone. Not because I forgot, but because I already knew what would be waiting for me. The moment I hit reverse on the transfer and posted that screenshot, only the ripple effect had started. The silence in my hotel room was almost peaceful. A kind of calm that comes when you finally stop beating your tongue. By mid-afternoon, curiosity got the better of me. My phone was flooded. Dozens of missed calls, unread messages, and a handful of social media notifications that told me the post had spread further than I expected. Most of it came from my brother. The progression was predictable: confusion, damage, control, and eventually pure anger. I did not respond to any of it. The more I thought about it, the more it settled in. It was not just what she did, it was that he stood there and let it happen. No hesitation, no fluff, no attempt to find me when I left. Just silence from someone I had pretty right. My comments online were a mixed bag. A few people praised it together and had their opinions. Posts supported me. Some thought it was dramatic, but they were not there. They did not see that look she gave me like I did not belong in a room I had to pay for. Later that night, someone from our hometown reached out, not for gossip, just to say they understood. It was strange how relations sometimes came from the most understood places. While the person who should have had beer back did not even notice it walk away. I still had not heard a single word from her, not that I expected to. Her silence said more than anything she could have extracted. My brother kept calling for a couple more days. Eventually, he gave up. So yeah, maybe I walked out. Maybe I canceled the transfer. But I did not start the spiral. All I did was decide where my line was and stick to it. 3 days later, the family group chat lit up like a fireworks show. I had made 8 months ago. Too many recipe wars and off-topic politics, but this time the notification kept buzzing in burst. I typing just cleared them out, but then so my name. Turned out my brothers had not told anyone I was the one who helped him pay for the ring. He just didn't believe that he pulled it off himself. So when the story broke, when people started connecting my post to engagement, it hit harder than he expected. The chat was split. A few aunts and cousins defended him, blaming the stressor, saying I should have talked to him privately. But the ones who really knew me, they stayed quiet. A few even texted me on the side not to pry, but to say they understood. Quiet support which I appreciated more than I let on. Then my brother called. He had not been especially close in recent years, but she would seen the screenshot too. She was not angry, just disappointed that it had come to this. I did not give her the full story, just said there were things she did not see. She did not pace, just sighed and said it was said watching siblings drift apart. And maybe it was, but there's a difference between drifting and choosing to swim away. The truth is their movement and the engagement party was not accelerated. It was just the final confirmation of the something I had been sensing for months. The shift in my brother's tone, the way she always seemed to filter his message or speak for him in the background. He stopped reaching out of the outward buzz. Stopped laughing the same way. People always talk about relationship changing people. I just had not expected him to change in a way who that amused me. The worst part, I think he genuinely believed I would not mind being treated like an afterthought. He was wrong. It took about a week for things to settle. The call stopped, the text slowed to a trickle. The weather had not reached out since the last string of message. I never opened, and she is still silent. No apology, no explanation, not even a specific receipt follow up. Just quiet, but the flow did not end with all. Mutual friends started pulling away, no from me. For them, apparently a few of them had been at the engagement party, so the whole thing go down. They had not said anything in the moment. Maybe they were just as stunned, but word had spread. He was still asking questions, wondering how someone could treat family like that in front of a room full of people. Turns out my story was not the only one. One friend mentioned how she would make snide comments about another guest dress. Someone else said they overheard her mocking the venue staff. Just them spilling up. Maybe no one noticed at first, or maybe they did, but chose to ignore it. But now there the spotlight was on. People started connecting dots. Maybe they had always been the golden boy, charming, likable, easy to root for, but now there was a shadow over that sign. They were starting to realize he didn't push back on her behavior. He never ate or odds, did not see anything wrong with it. Meanwhile, I went back to my life. Work, gym, grocery runs, the usual bigger. But everything felt clear, like I would earn a boundary and actually honor it for once. I did not regret the reverse transfer, not for a second. What I did regret was that it took me this long to realize how far I would be stretching myself thin for someone who never offered the someone in return. Family is not about blood, it's about who shows up for you and who sees you when you show up for them. A few weeks passed. No new calls, no message, just silence where a relationship used to be. It wasn't loud or dramatic, it just felt like a song quietly ending neat chores. Then out of nowhere, I got an invitation in the mail. The wedding saved the date. My name was spelled wrong. No personal note, no call, just my address on the envelope like an afterthought. The card was glossy and expensive. All aesthetic, no soil. I tossed in, recycling bin without a second glance. Not because I was angry, but because it was done. Closure didn't come in some emotional apology or teary conversation. It came in that position that I did not know it on. I had given and given until I finally chosen to stop. That it was not cruelty. That was honorable. Never expect a thank you for the $10,000. I never wanted credit. I just put in basic decency, respect, a moment of acknowledgement, and when I did not get it, I made a choice not to fight, not to argue, but to be more by myself. Some people call it pity, others call it dramatic, but the ones who really understood, they knew it was about the journey. It was about drawing a line. In the end, I didn't go to the wedding. I heard through a cousin that it was beautiful but smaller than expected. A few people blocked at the last minute. Some claimed scheduling conflict. I did not speak. I did not ask. I did not need revenge. I did not need reconciliation. What I needed was peace, and walking away gave me that. If you will be ever had to learn the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your kindness. This story was for you. And sharing more stories like this, real, personal, unfiltered. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers and keep this series going.